connected. 1 second. Alright, they seem to have solved the problem. I think I am live now. Let me know if everything is good to go. Okay, there we are. Hi, hello, welcome to today's session. My name is Asmita, your IELTS mentor here at Vedantu, and today we are going to upgrade some speaking answers. You guys have done a fair bit of speaking practice. Alright, I think a little bit of a technical snag, but we are back. Yes, sorry about that. So yes, so you know the kind of responses that you need to formulate for each part of the speaking test. One sec. Hi, hello, Bhavish. Just making sure if everything is okay because I keep getting an error. Okay, hi, yes. So today what we're going to do is very simple. We're going to take some answers and you are going to tell me what's wrong with these answers and how they can be upgraded to a band 8 or a band 9 answer. So these answers have some issues. These issues we have discussed in the past extensively. So you're aware of what not to do in the speaking section. So you are going to upgrade these for me, all right? So here we are, but before we get started, there's something very important that I want to tell you. All of you right now might be in different stages of life. Some might be in 11th, some in 12th. Those of you in 12th, you're more concerned about what to do because now is the time for you to take action. 11th, you're starting to think about how you want your life to look like post-school. And these are very important decisions. These shape our life's journey and everything that is to come beyond. So it's a very stressful but nonetheless like a delicate part of your life point in time, because you not only have to take a decision, you have to keep in mind so many factors. Much of it is to do with your parents' finances if you are in undergraduate, your ability to crack entrance exams, what subject you're getting, what do you want to prioritize, college or what you're getting to study. So there are many decisions that are happening simultaneously and you might not be equipped to make all of these decisions on your own. There's also a lot of information that you need to know at this point, and even though we have the internet, a disadvantage of it is bombardment of information, a lot of which can also be incorrect. So you might not get the right kind of guidance if you are trying to find out everything on your own. The other problem is every time you try to seek guidance elsewhere, it's too expensive. You go to a career counselor or someone who can help you out with your applications if you want to study abroad. They just take too much money. Also, it's an assumption that if there's somebody who wants to go and study abroad, people tend to assume that their parents have a lot of money, which might not be the case. It could be that you want to take a loan to go and study abroad, right? So a lot of people try to just mint money off of you and don't really provide the kind of help and guidance that you require. That is why over here you have expert counseling that you're getting. Through this, you have to be really serious about wanting to study abroad to make use of this, because you'll have to fill out a form. That form takes a lot of information from you in terms of what your age is right now, what your budget is to go and study abroad, what subjects you want to study, what field are you going to choose, etc., etc. So it's going to take a lot of information from you, and based on that information, you're going to get a counselor who will help you out, right? So if you want to do medicine abroad somewhere, then you will be directed to somebody who has expertise in how to apply to medical colleges, let's say in Georgia or something like that, right? So if you fill out this form, only if you're serious about studying abroad, you fill out this form, somebody is going to get in touch with you within 24 to 48 hours, and through that counselor, you can figure out what your next steps should be. And the best part is this service is being given to you for free right now. I don't know how long it's going to be free for. So make use of it, all right? The form is in the description. Please fill it out. But like I said, only do it if you're actually serious about studying abroad. This is not... these are counselors who are very busy with a lot of students that they need to take care of in a day. So if you're simply filling out a form, it's a waste of their time to contact you, communicate with you, figure out what you want to do. So only if you are genuinely looking at opportunities to study abroad, fill out this form. And if you are, then make sure you fill this form, because you're not going to find better resource than this to help you out at this very difficult time, but a very exciting time of your life. Okay. Which stream did I opt for? I did not study in India, so I was in America. There you don't have to pick streams. It's not like after 10th you have to pick science or commerce. That's not there in America. All right. Okay, so here is our first prompt. The question says, do you enjoy watching films? What is this really... I don't even know how to describe it. What are we in the Victorian era? What is this Victorian way of talking, Ashish? Alright, so do you enjoy watching films? It's a very basic IELTS question. It's not difficult to answer, but there are many things that can go wrong while answering. So let's take a look at one such answer which is not a very good answer, okay? And you have to tell me what the issues with this particular response are. Yes, of course, I like to watch films. Actually, I watch movies very regularly. Like every day, I watch at least one movie or sometimes even two. I watch Hindi movies and also English movies, but I don't understand all the dialogue, so I usually put subtitles. I think watching films is good for entertainment and time pass, and it helps me when I'm bored and not having work. So yeah, I like watching films a lot because they're enjoyable and also because everyone is watching them nowadays. So can you point out some things that are perhaps lacking in this answer, or some things that are overdone in this answer? Are there any glaring issues that you would like to point out off the bat that can affect the score of this candidate? Hi David. Come on everyone, tell me, what do you think are issues that... Think of, you know what, how we did that examiner exercise where you were supposed to give bands to answers? Do the same thing. And basically tell me where you think this answer can improve or this response can be better. How can we upgrade it? I'm not saying it's a bad response. I'm not saying this is something that's going to fail you. But how can we upgrade it? Because we need to aim for the best. I should also probably get out of the way. Come on, I don't see any answers right now. Oh, so Rohan, you've already taken the IELTS, got a 7. 7's not a bad score. Who said 7's a bad band? I mean, you can definitely do better. If you were able to get a 7 in your first try, then you can do better. I don't know how long you prepared for and what all did you do. The question is, I am asking you, what are some things in this answer that should change? Alright, let me do the first one for you because I feel like you're all struggling. let's start with just basically looking at whether or not this response satisfactorily answers the question. The question was, do you enjoy watching films? So yes, the response does address the question. It says, of course, I like to watch films. And then it goes on to explain, I watch movies very regularly, like every day. I watch at least one movie. So here, this sentence is kind of convoluted. Look at this sentence. Actually, I watch movies very regularly, like every day. So instead of saying very regularly, they could have just said, actually, I watch movies every day, and then end the thought over here and then continue. I watch at least one movie or sometimes even two. So it could have been something like, actually, I watch at least one movie every day, which is kind of a lot. So that's weird, but still. So same thing is being repeated again and again. Actually, I watch movies very regularly, like every day, at least one movie. Same thing again and again. All right, we are back. So it's the unnecessary repetition of the same thing again and again. Then I watch Hindi movies and also some English movies, but I don't understand all the dialogue, so I usually put subtitles. Again, this over here is an example of a run-on sentence. See, where you should have had conjunctions, where ideally there should have been some conjunctions to set the sentences apart or separate the sentences. Here there are just commas. Hindi movies, English movies, I don't understand all the dialogue, so I usually put subtitles. So now this is misleading. Does the candidate put subtitles for Hindi movies also? Does he not understand Hindi movies either, or is it just about English movies? That's not clear. Okay, so to make this more clear or clearer, we need to add conjunctions here, and we can also break the sentence into different parts so that the meaning can come across clearly, that I watch Hindi movies, but sometimes I also tune into English movies. Even though sometimes I'm unable to understand the dialogues because of how fast native English speakers speak. But in such cases, I take the help of subtitles. This thought could have been expressed in a nicer way if 3 different sentences were used instead of this one long run-on sentence. What are these called? These are called run-on sentences. Sentences that just go on and on and on and on without conjunctions in the middle, simply separated by commas. Alright? And so, I think watching films is good for entertainment and time pass, and it helps me when I'm bored and not having work. So here there are 2 very major issues. One is using this word time pass, which is not a real word. Second is not having work, again grammatically incorrect. So this sentence has 2 mistakes. One is using a word that's not an actual word, but we meant and to pass time. How do you don't say time pass, you say to pass time. Okay, so here to pass time, and it helps me when I'm bored and don't have any work to do. Not having work, wrong. Don't have anything to do, or when I'm not busy, or when I'm not occupied. These are better ways of saying that I'm free. Not having work is incorrect. So yeah, I like watching films a lot because they're enjoyable and also because everyone is watching them nowadays. Again, this sentence does not connect with anything else that was said. Even though this last line is stated like a conclusion, the last part doesn't connect to anything that was said prior. Nowhere did the candidate mention. Yeah, I know there's a little bit of an issue with my OBS. It keeps shutting down in the middle for some reason. Alright, so I hope that's fixed now. I know, I don't know why it's happening. I'm not sure. I hope it's fixed. And then finally, so yeah, the conclusion doesn't really connect to anything, and this part of the conclusion, again, it's repetitive. So what are the major issues here? The first major issue is repetition. Everything keeps repeating. Okay, you can also say it's redundant. Second major issue is using Indianisms like time pass and not having work. Okay, these are very Indian English sentences that are actually incorrect, or phrases that are incorrect. Okay, third one was run-on sentences. And fourth was no good vocabulary. Not one word I was able to point out as being a good word that, okay, it's not lagging now. Okay, so there's no one word that we could say was used effectively or that made sense or added to the richness of the response, right? So these were our glaring issues, which is why this response maximum would be a band 6 response, okay? Maximum, I would even say it could be a band 5.5 response. So how do we improve this? We can say something like, yes, I really enjoy watching films, especially after a long day. I usually watch both Hindi and English movies, and I find subtitles quite helpful when I'm watching something in English. So here it is absolutely clear that the not understanding issue happens only while watching English movies, okay, not otherwise. So I really enjoy watching films, especially after a long day. No repetition very regularly, every day, once every day. All of that is not being said. Okay, the subtitles, it's quite clear. Films are a great way for me to unwind and explore different cultures. So here, good vocabulary has been used to express. In fact, even over here, the use of words is more impactful than it was in the previous answer. Subtitles are quite helpful. See, nothing too elaborate, nothing too complex, but still the sentences are very clean, very structured. So the grammatical range is very nice. It's each sentence is serving the purpose very clearly, and it's expressing exactly what it is meant to express, right? They also help improve my listening skills in English, which is a bonus, right? So here, the candidate themselves talked about their weakness. What is their weakness? That sometimes they are not able to understand the dialogues in English. But they make up for this weakness by saying that I watch English movies as practice, right? So here they've shown that even though their English might not be the best, they are putting in effort. So the response also shows that if it's showing a weakness, it is also showing that practice or work is being put in to counter this weakness, right? So that's a very good way of framing your responses. When you accept that this is something I can't do, don't do it in a haughty way that, I can't do that. Instead, say, I struggle with it, but I am constantly trying to improve myself. So that's a better way of expressing your inability to do something, by saying that I'm trying to work on it, okay? So that's what makes this response a much better response, which can easily get you a band 8 or 9 depending upon how you give all the other responses in your speaking test. Now let's do the same exercise. Now you've understood what I want you to do. Let's do the same thing with this question, which is describe a person you know who speaks a foreign language well. Alright, so here the question's a little teda. It's a different question that you might not have seen before. Here you can talk about anything. You can talk about somebody who's learning a foreign language in the sense that they're learning Spanish or French or something. You can also talk about an Indian person whose first language is, let's say, Hindi, and they're trying to learn English. That's also a route you can take to formulate a response for this question. Very good, Rohan. That's a really good answer. Very good to the point answer for part 1 of the speaking test. Very soon, you're going to see videos on the channel where I am interviewing actual candidates and they are taking the speaking test, okay? And I'm giving them feedback after the speaking test, and you can see how they answer the questions and what band they get. So those videos are going to come up for you very, very soon. So stay tuned, all right? Okay. Here's the first response that we need to upgrade. First of all, not how much bands, how many bands, and it's not how many bands, it will be which band do I get, right? There are no plural bands. There's no 1 band, 2 bands, 3 bands. Your band is your score, right? So it's like on a scale from 0 to 9, 9 being the highest. So you just say which band would I get for such a response, okay? Alright, here's the response that you need to upgrade. I will talk about my cousin who is very good in speaking English. He has done his graduation in commerce, but he wanted to do MBA, so he gave IELTS and he got very good band score, like 8 or 9, I don't remember exactly. He always speaks in English only, even with his parents, and he uses very high level vocabulary. Like once he said procrastinate and I didn't know what it means. I feel he is very fluent and because he speaks continuously without stopping. I also want to become like him, but sometimes I don't get the words in my mind and I also do grammar mistakes when I speak. Alright. What are some glaring issues in this response which makes it stuck somewhere in, I would say, 5 to 5.5 zone? What are some issues here? That's a very good question. I will make a video on this very soon, okay? Why I left America. Okay. At least 3 issues I want. Whenever you try. Sky Gaming, I've made a detailed video on this. You can check that out on the channel. It's called Improving Your English Before IELTS. Watch that video where I've given you actionables that you need to follow every day to improve your English speaking skills. If you follow everything that I've said in that video, which will not take more than half an hour every day, then you will see a marked improvement in your English speaking skills in a month only. I am willing to guarantee this. Okay, quickly point out the issues here. Of course, I'm Indian. What else do you think I am? Come on, why aren't you able to point out anything? There are so many mistakes here. In the first line itself, I see an error. If you can't point out these errors, then you will make the same mistakes in your speaking response and you won't be able to do a good job. The first step is to be able to correct mistakes. Only then you won't make those mistakes. If you recognize errors here, only then you won't make the same errors. I want at least 3 mistakes or 3 issues with this response pointed out. Come on, quickly. It's too slow. You guys are too slow. It won't work like this. Astra, what are some issues that you're able to pinpoint in this particular answer? You have enough information now about the speaking test. You know how to answer questions. You know the different kind of prompts. So you need to tell me, what do you think is lacking? Why is this answer stuck in a band 5 or 5.5? Okay, Rohan is saying there's weak vocabulary and it's quite simple. Are there any issues, errors that you can find? Sky Gaming, that's good. So if you're not... Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, if you're not worried about maths, then you can devote more time to improving your English, right? Everybody else has to spend a lot of time improving all subjects. If you don't have to worry about maths or science, then that means more time. All right, here you go. Very good, Rohan. Claps for you. First issue over here in the first line itself. Very good in speaking English. Wrong preposition. Yes, should be good at speaking English, okay? He has done his graduation. He done his graduation, again, very Indian way of saying. Nobody really speaks like this. What do we say? He completed or he graduated in commerce. So instead of saying he's done his graduation, we can say he graduated. And again, you can explain, instead of just saying in commerce, you can say he graduated college with a degree in commerce, and then explain what a degree in commerce means in India. It means economics, all right? So you can explain that, and then, but he wanted to do an MBA, so he gave IELTS. Should it be gave IELTS? Is it supposed to be gave IELTS? Is that correct? Hi Rohit, hi Tawheed. Good evening. Should it be gave IELTS? Come on, come on. Is it gave IELTS or should it be something else? That's okay, Tawheed. It takes time to grow a new channel. That's why. Nothing in life comes instantly. Everything takes time. Okay, so it should always be took. Every time you have a test, okay, you have a test, you're mentioning a test, you're going to say, I took it, or I'm going to take it, alright? So it's took the IELTS, not gave the IELTS, okay? So that's a mistake here. Indians make this mistake a lot. And he got a very good band score, like 8 or 9, I don't remember exactly. He always speaks in English only. Again, ending sentences with only sounds awkward. And he uses very high level vocabulary. Like once he said procrastinate, and I didn't know what it means. I didn't know what it meant. Starting the sentence with like. I feel he's very fluent because he speaks continuously without stopping. I also want to become like him, but sometimes I don't get the words in my mind. Get the words in my mind. Again, an awkwardly phrased sentence doesn't make much sense. And also do grammar mistakes. You don't do mistakes. What should it be? We never do mistakes. We, quickly, it's not do mistakes, it's come on, come on, come on, not do mistakes. I'm saying that only. It's a very Indian way of speaking, Astra. That's not normally considered a good sentence, especially in formal speaking. Instead of saying, I'm saying that only, you can say that's exactly what I'm saying, okay? Very good. Make. grammar mistakes when I speak. Again here, ending with just talking about things that you are lacking without giving any sort of indication that you're working on it, okay? So again, you are letting the examiner know that my English speaking skills are not good. You are sitting in an English proficiency test, and in the test response itself, you're saying that my English is not good, I do grammar mistakes. You don't have to, and if you're accepting that, if you're saying that, you know, my English might not be at the level that I want it